Hello, my name is Fred Drogula. I'm a professor of classics here at Ohio University, and I'm the director of the Ping Institute for the Humanities, which is making this series of short videos talking about topics in the humanities to stay engaged with our colleagues out there. Today, I'm speaking with my colleague, Dr. Matthew Cornish, a professor in the School of Theater here at Ohio University, and the two of us are going to discuss the play by the Greek playwright Sophocles called Oedipus Tyrannus or Oedipus Rex. Dr. Cornish, I wonder, could you start us off by telling us, what is this play about in your view?
Sure. Thanks for talking with me today, Fred. So, this is a play that is often imagined as being a play about a bad king who killed his father and then married his mother, did some really disturbing things. And then he's punished for this, as well as for his hubris, his belief that he's so great and he can solve all of the problems. But I don't think that's what the play is about at all. I think if you look at it carefully, from the beginning to the end, you can see that this is actually a play that's doing something somewhat different. So we enter this play with Oedipus having gathered around himself the citizens of Thebes because there is a terrible plague that is befalling the city. Children are dying before they're born. Women are dying in labor. Crops are rotting in fields. And the citizens have come to Oedipus to beg him for help. They tell him, the chorus, the citizens of Thebes, they say, "We do rate you first of men, both in the common crises of our lives and face-to-face encounters with the gods." So I think this is a play that is actually about a good king dealing with a bad plague. Now, can you talk to us, Fred, about this plague? Because there was actually a plague that happened in Athens, and maybe it even happened right around the time this play was first written and performed.
Thank you. It's a great question from a historian's perspective, which is my main background. We normally think of Sophocles, who was an Athenian aristocrat, writing about the plague that struck Athens in 430 BC at the very start of the Peloponnesian War, the Athenian War with Sparta. The funny thing is we're not sure about that. Most of Sophocles's plays, we cannot securely date when they were produced. So when they were written and produced. All we can say about Oedipus Tyrannus or Oedipus Rex is that it was produced somewhere between the 440s and the 420s, which means it could just as easily have been written before the Great Plague of Athens as after. Several eminent scholars have argued that it must be after, that Sophocles must be talking about the Plague of Athens of 430 BC because of many similarities in the description of the plague and how it strikes Thebes. But on the other hand, the great Homeric epic, the Iliad, also begins with a plague sent by the gods to punish hubris. And in that play, Apollo is punishing the Greeks. And it could be that Sophocles was influenced by that. So we don't actually know, but it becomes a matter of preference, which you prefer to think of it as. But let me ask, from your perspective, does this play still speak to us, 2,500 years later in the age of the COVID pandemic?
Yes. So I come at this play not just as a historian, although that is something of what I do, but also as a theater artist, as somebody who makes plays. And I think that this is absolutely a play that speaks to us today, especially during our current pandemic. Myths are a way of us that we as people use ancient tales to talk to our own lives. So Oedipus is a play that has been an idea, a myth that has been reimagined over and over again for millennia. And we can absolutely reimagine it to talk to ourselves today. And I want to turn to the end of the play so that we can see how maybe we can do that. We are a people, I think, here in America who tend to imagine ourselves as all powerful. We can make anything happen, are the great world power. And that was true of Athens during its time as well. They imagined themselves also as this great world power. And here we are at the end of 2020, having been brought to our knees by a plague, by something that is ancient, by something that we think that we have conquered. And there's a couple of great lines here at the end of the play that I think help us to help that message to land home. And I can only imagine how that might feel in a theater again, maybe when we can gather in person and having actors tell us these lines. So Creon here, he says at the end of the play to Oedipus, who's about to be exiled, a fate worse than death, he says, "No more, here your power ends." And then the chorus, which brings together all of the themes of the play here in their final lines, they say, "People of Thebes," and we easily be people of America, people of the world today, "look on Oedipus. He solved the famous riddle with his brilliance. He rose to power, a man beyond all power. Who could behold his greatness without envy? Now, what a black sea of terror has overwhelmed him. Now, as we keep our watch and wait the final day, count no man happy till he dies, free of pain at last."
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Cornish, for taking the time to talk to me today. I hope everybody enjoyed this video, and take a look at more of our videos if you get the chance. Thank you, Dr. Cornish.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.